All right, let's talk about the world's first real superpower, the Persian Empire. This is a story that's just epic, right? But what's so wild is that it doesn't start with some massive battle. Nope. It begins with something way more personal and kind of strange.
I mean, how does a single dream, a really, really bad dream that a king has, end up creating an empire that would literally change the world? It sounds crazy, I know. So let's get into it. Okay, so before we can get to Persia, you gotta understand the world it came from. Picture this, the Iranian Plateau. For centuries, this place was like a giant chessboard with all these different kingdoms and powers constantly fighting for control.
So way back, around 2000 BC, you have these two groups, the Medes and the Persians, wandering in from Central Asia. But here's the thing, they weren't walking into an empty room. Oh no, the big players on the scene were the Elamites, an ancient kingdom so tough they actually conquered Babylon once. But then, fast forward to the 8th century BC, and a new bully shows up on the playground, the Assyrian Empire. And these guys were brutal.
So this table really tells the whole story, doesn't it? You've got the old school Elamites and the new, terrifying Assyrians basically running the show. And the Medes and Persians? Well, they were at the bottom of the food chain. Just tribal subjects, pretty much second-class citizens. Forced to pay tribute first to one empire and then to an even nastier one. You know, if you push people too hard, they're going to push back. The Assyrians were so cruel that eventually the Medes had enough. They rebelled and, get this, they actually managed to carve out their own kingdom. And this is where our main story kicks off. Not with swords and shields, but inside the head of the Mede king, a guy named Astyages, who was having some serious nightmares.
So King Astyages is just tormented by these dreams about his daughter. First, he dreams she causes a flood that drowns his entire kingdom. So he marries her off to a Persian noble he thinks is a total nobody, hoping that'll solve the problem. But then, he has an even worse dream. He sees a grapevine grow from her womb and just cover all of Asia. His advisors told him exactly what it meant, and it was his worst fear. His own grandson was destined to take his throne.
So naturally, he panics. Astyages orders his right-hand man to get rid of the baby. Just kill him. But the minister just can't do it. So he comes up with a plan. He gives the baby prince to a shepherd, whose wife, in this unbelievable twist of fate, had just lost her own child. They secretly swap the babies, and the prince is raised as a simple shepherd's son. Nobody knows. As far as the king knew, problem solved, threat neutralized. But you can't outrun destiny, right? That royal blood, that inborn authority, it was bound to come out eventually. And it did, when the boy was just 10 years old. He's playing a game with the other kids, and they make him their king. So when the son of some big-shot noble refuses to do what he says, the boy, well, acting as king, he has the kid punished. Can you imagine? Word of this gutsy little shepherd's son eventually gets all the way back to the real king, Astyages. So the king brings the boy to court, asks a few questions, and the truth comes out. He realizes, oh no, this is him. This is my grandson, Cyrus. But then, and this is the biggest blunder in his entire life, Astyages convinces himself that since Cyrus was king in a kid's game, the prophecy was fulfilled. Like, phew, dodged a bullet. He was so relieved he just sent Cyrus back to his actual parents in Persia. He'd basically just handed the keys to the kingdom to the one person prophesied to take them from him. So now Cyrus is back home in Persia, and as he grows up, he sees it firsthand. His people are treated like dirt by the Medes. He knows they're capable of more, but they've been beaten down for so long. He needs to light a fire under them. So he comes up with this brilliant, really simple plan. Here's what he does. Day 1, he makes all the Persian men work from sunup to sundown, clearing this awful, thorny field. I mean, they're just completely wiped out. Then, day 2, he takes them to the exact same spot, but this time, he's laid out this incredible feast. The best food, the best wine. He's showing them, not telling them, the choice they have. This or that. And right there, while they're eating and drinking, he hits them with it. He says, look around you. This life of feasting or yesterday's life of back-breaking labor. If you follow me, this can be your life, every single day. Why should we be slaves to the Medes? Are we any less than them? And that was the spark that lit the whole fire. And it worked. The Persians were fired up. They rose up against their Mede overlords, and the rebellion was just, boom, fast, decisive. The entire political map of the ancient world was about to be completely redrawn. Think about this. It took just 3 years. 3. That's it. In 3 years, Cyrus the Great took down his grandfather's entire kingdom, an empire that had stood for generations. Gone. I mean, nobody would have believed that was possible. But Cyrus wasn't just a wrecking ball. He was a builder. He creates a whole new dynasty, the Achaemenid dynasty. He founds this incredible new capital, Persepolis. And he was smart about it too. He didn't just burn the old capitals to the ground. He kept Susa and Ecbatana running as key administrative hubs. He was building something to last.
Okay, so it's 547 BC. The new Persian Empire is barely on its feet, and already it's getting its first major test. The Lydian kingdom over to the west, a super rich and powerful kingdom, they see this new kid on the block and they do not like it. They decide they need to take Persia down a peg.
And the Lydians had a secret weapon. Or so they thought. Their cavalry was legendary, the best, most feared horsemen in the entire world. A lesser general would have tried to fight fire with fire, but not Cyrus. He does something weird, something nobody expected. He puts his supply camels at the front line of his army. Camels!
And you know what happened? It was genius. The Lydian horses had never seen or smelled camels before. They absolutely freaked out. They reared up, threw their riders, refused to charge. The world's greatest cavalry just dissolved into chaos. And just like that, it's a total Persian victory. Not because they were stronger, but because Cyrus was smarter. So let's just recap here. In a ridiculously short amount of time, Cyrus took his people from being nobodies to being the masters of a massive new empire. But was he done? Oh, not even close. He had his eyes set on the biggest prize of all, the legendary city of Babylon. And with it, a title he wanted more than anything, King of the Four Corners of the World. So it really makes you wonder, what does it take? What does it take for one person, a boy who was supposed to be left for dead, to become the ruler of pretty much the entire known world?